Hello viewers, I'm your host Uzma Jafri with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show with Indians who have doubled down on technology and innovation in their fight against the deadly coronavirus. When the social distancing has become a way of life, people are coming up with new ideas to keep doing their daily chores while keeping virus at bay.
Coronavirus has sparked a new wave of innovations in India. Entrepreneurs and innovators across the country are busy devising new apps, robots and other creative gadgets to fight the deadly virus. In Coimbatore city of Tamil Nadu, an engineer has designed a robot to run errands to maintain social distancing during the coronavirus pandemic. Karthik Velavuthum uses his device, a remote-controlled cart, to pick up groceries in his local market where it queues with regular shoppers. Built within a time span of 2 days and a small budget of 3,000 rupees only, the robot is a humble machine on a cardboard box resting on a 4-wheeled wooden platform and can carry up to 30 kilograms of weight.
இந்த ரோபோ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வேர்ல்டில் நீங்கள் எங்கே இருந்தாலும் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணலாம். இன்டர்நெட் அப்புறம் வீடியோ கால் யூஸ் பண்ணி நம்ம கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணிக்கலாம். அப்புறம் இந்த ரோபோ வந்து ஷாப்பிங்க்கெலாம் யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது நம்ம சோசியல் டிஸ்டன்ஸை வந்து நம்ம மெயின்டைன் பண்ண முடியும். யார் பக்கத்துலேயும் போய் அவங்க பக்கத்தில் நின்று தான் பொருள் வாங்குறத நம்ம வந்து அவாய்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக இதை பண்ணியிருக்கோம்.
It is not just the innovators and entrepreneurs who are making such a magnificent use of technology, but the professionals too have adjusted their sails amidst coronavirus crisis. After teachers who are already giving online classes to students, it's the doctors who are moving to online consultation for non-COVID-19 patients to curb the spread of the virus. To head off a rush at clinics and accompanying risk of infection, many doctors are turning to video calls and WhatsApp chats, in addition to regular telephone calls, to treat patients suffering from illnesses such as diabetes or kidney conditions. Though patients could go online to book appointments and make advance payments with free follow-up consultations even before the pandemic, but now it is helping to formalize the process.
There are many things which can be done on remote consultation, video consultation, phone consultation. It's always not necessary to visit a doctor. Okay, what happens if somebody is taking audio or video consultation? If I feel that patient should be seen by me in person, physical examination is required, then I'll tell the patient that you should come. I'll have to examine you.
In COVID-19 times, technology adoption has definitely got a new life, with everyone turning to it to carry out their day-to-day activities.
Moving on to China, that has been desperately trying to shift the global focus from its alleged complicity in the spread of coronavirus. Earlier, while it issued retributive trade threats to Australia, its People's Liberation Army is now provoking India by infiltrating into its territory and setting up camps. In an unknown context, the Chinese President Xi Jinping has even asked its forces to stay prepared for a war. But we'll show you how China's tactics are ill-conceived and its threats are hollow.
If the people were to find the epicenter of the growing tensions across the world, then they will have to look for it in the Communist Party of China's headquarters in Beijing. China's ambitious triggered actions have affected peace of almost every country around the world. Whether it's America, Europe, Southeast Asia or South Asia, its desperate bids at gaining diplomatic and strategic dominance by exploiting the pandemic crisis are known to all. The country which is allegedly complicit in the transmission of the coronavirus across the world and is not reporting any new cases in its own territory even had the agenda of gaining global market control. However, the plan turned out to be counterproductive, as not only it has attracted a bad press for over 6 months, but has suffered a massive blow to its economics too. The foreign enterprises in China are looking for an alternative base. Some have already bidded a disappointing farewell. The country's unemployment rate, which officially stands at 6%, has been pushed up to 10% as per the experts. China's disinformation campaign to blame others has fallen flat, as the United States has upped its ante in the demanding an investigation into the origin of the virus, and others have joined in. See how Chinese leadership is trying to make peace with Washington, but the Trump administration is just not ready to listen.
中美两国合策两利，斗策俱伤。它不仅关系两国人民的利益，而且关系到世界，所以也引起一些问题发生以后，世界的担忧。总之，要相互尊重，平等互利，尊重对方的核心利益和重大关切，寻求合作共赢，这样于己、于人、于世界都有利。谢谢。
There couldn't have been a worse time for China, as demands of secession from Taiwan and greater autonomy from Hong Kong have picked unprecedented momentum. Their chorus for freedom has resonated with the mass and leaderships. Now see how China has changed the global headlines. The PLA entered the Indian territory several times in the India's northern union territory of Ladakh. Why it did so, nobody knows. It retreated after commander-level negotiations, but just to return in hours. While some say that China has been irked by the heaps of praise India received for its swift and proactive actions during pandemic, others feel that businesses shifting their base has caused the real frustration. PLA says that it has been prompted by Indian Army's infrastructure building along the border. However, just like its virus narrative, its border claims too have no element of truth in it.
India is committed to the objective of maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas with China, and our armed forces scrupulously follow the consensus reached by our leaders and the guidance provided. At the same time, we remain firm in our resolve to ensuring India's sovereignty and national security.
When Beijing realized that its acrobats were not getting a significant media attention, President Xi Jinping himself came out with a statement saying that PLA should always be ready for all levels of conflicts. However, Beijing is aware of the fact that war is the last adventure it can afford in current times. Chinese ambassador to India was quick to intervene that China wanted the continuation of cordial relationship with India.
The realization of dragon and elephant dancing together is the only right choice for China and India, which serves the fundamental interests of our two peoples and the two countries.
So what is China's motive here? Is it trying to digress the discussion where it is repeatedly being blamed for its antagonism? Or is it trying to bring down the level of animosity it has developed with the United States? The reason could be anything, but it would only and only be China's loss if it tries to bite more than it can chew. Beijing is being criticized in Vietnam. Beijing is being criticized in Hong Kong. Beijing is being criticized everywhere. Better would be for Beijing if it sets its own house in order before trying to set its aim on others' territory.
Moving on. It's been 6 months since the peace deal was signed between the United States and the Taliban, and not even a hint of peace has emerged in the country. Taliban is on a rampage and has killed scores since then. Other terrorist groups, which were supposed to be not given any space in the territory, have already made deep inroads. The inhuman attack on maternity hospital was one incident where they had registered their presence. The US president has reiterated his commitment of bringing back all troops from the region, but it simply doesn't appear a pragmatic solution in current times. Have a look.
Successive deadly attacks post the signing of peace deal between the Taliban and the United States on 29th February this year has only worsened the precarious security situation of the war-torn country. While some of these attacks were carried out by the Taliban, it is the active and growing presence of other terrorist groups, including the ISIS, that is mounting troubles for both the US and the Kabul establishment. Despite Taliban's tantrums and periodic swings in their decisions, a limited level of peace process had kicked off and optimism was setting in, with both sides releasing each other's detainees. But today, with more attacks attributed to other terrorists, Washington's plan of withdrawing its troops from Afghanistan has suffered a blow. President Trump, who faces ballot in this year's end for his second presidential term, is keen on bringing his troops back. A promise he made in his previous campaign and has reiterated throughout his tenure.
We're dealing with the Taliban. We're dealing with the president. The president now has gotten themselves straightened out with the two presidents, but we're dealing with, because they had, as you know, they had competing factors and factions. Yeah, I think we want to we're there 19 years. We're really not acting as soldiers, we're acting as police. And we're not sent over there to be policemen, but we're there 19 years. And yeah, I think that's enough, and they understand. We're having very positive talks. We want to bring our soldiers back home. We want to bring them back home.
The leadership in Washington has repeatedly expressed its optimism, but the future from current situation appears treacherous. Zalmay Khalilzad, who has been the negotiator-in-chief during the entire process, has even asked other countries to talk to the Taliban, a clear sign that the US is not convinced and Taliban is not abiding by the rules of the truce. President Ashraf Ghani, who changed his stance from defensive to offensive, has again returned to defensive mode and has said that negotiations is the only way peace can be restored in the country.
راه حل اساسی شروع کردن مذاکرات صلح است و در یک بار هیئت مذاکره افغانستان حاضر است که فوراً مذاکرات شروع کنه. یک هیئت همه شمول افغانستان است. تمام افغانان در این حضور دارند و این هیئت ان شاء الله تعالی با قوت از ملت و دولت افغانستان نمایندگی خواهد کرد.
The only element of hope for Washington, which spends $4 billion each year on Afghan security, is that Taliban has been showing some responsibility lately and allowing concessions to Kabul, which it considered a stooge of West. However, it is hard to understand as to why the US has not slashed the security it said to withhold in March. As per media reports, the Pentagon has been reluctant to shave the funds announced by Pompeo, and Defense Secretary Mark Esper has not provided guidance to his agency on to how to carry it out. It was unclear why the cut has not been made. whether President Trump's administration is not hopeful of a peace returning to the country, or there is some disconnect between the state and the Defense Department regarding the issue.
Moving on. The more Pakistan tries to stifle the voice of Balochs, more they become stronger. While there were a limited few leading the anti-Pakistan movement until a few years back, an army of thousands of freedom fighters has emerged lately. The movement has also become two-pronged. While some have been seeking their rights and freedom in non-violent manner, others have resorted to different means of resistance. Today, we once again focus at how the human rights situation continues to deteriorate in this resource-rich region, and all because of the inhuman Pak army.
This is the Facebook page of International Voice for Baloch Missing Persons, a non-governmental organization that reports the brutal violence of Pakistan Army and ISI against the people of Balochistan. A timeline scroll of just 10 days and you'll see the inhuman face of Pak Army, which has been vigorously involved in the abduction, torture and killing of Balochs. The largest and the resource-rich province under Pakistan, Balochistan has had a grim 7-decade history of neglect and discrimination. The immediate future too doesn't seem promising. While Pakistan has plundered and continues to exploit the gas and minerals of the region, the indigenous people who should have a prerogative over these resources have been reeling under abject poverty. And the status quo has been the same for the past 7 decades. Any demand for the rights is crushed with severe high-handedness.
ये जो कुछ तुम कर रहे हो, इसका खामियाजा तुम्हारा मुल्क भुगतेगा। बलोच को तो तुम 70 सालों से मार रहे हो, हर 10 साल के बाद आप बलूचिस्तान को फतह करने की कोशिश करते हो। लेकिन मैं आपको ये कहूँ कि ये बलोच का जो लहू बह रहा है, ये खून जो बह रहा है बलूचिस्तान के अंदर, इसमें तुम ऐसे गिरोगे कि फिर कभी उठने के काबिल ही नहीं रहोगे। इन चीज़ों को अपने ज़हन में रखें आप 20 साल से यहाँ पर मिलिट्री ऑपरेशन कर रहे हैं, लोगों को मार रहे हैं, क्या मिला आपको?
The precise number of people who have become victim to the guns and conspiracies of Pakistani army is unknown. But accounts and figures revealed by Balochs uncover a horrific story. As of today, 53,658 people, including 350 women and 200 children, have been abducted from Balochistan. Deemed as the backbone of society, Pakistan has taken punitive measures against the youths and has killed 18,000 of those who try to resist their barbarism. Even years of demonstrations and strikes have not been given any attention by the rulers. Mama Qadir Baloch has held hunger protest for almost 1,000 days, but all has been in vain. Balochs have now issued an ultimatum seeking a dialogue with the army chief Qamar Javed Bajwa.
पूरे आपने बलूचिस्तान को चावनी बना दिया है, हर जगह आपके फोर्सेस बैठे हुए हैं, कदम कदम पर चेकअप हो रहा है। इतने पैसे जो तुमने इस बलोचों को मारने पर खर्च किया, अगर ये पैसे बलूचिस्तान में यूनिवर्सिटी, मेडिकल कॉलेज और ये हॉस्पिटल्स बनते तो ये कहां पे पहुंचता?
Pakistan has lately launched a crackdown against the educated youths of Balochistan. They are picked from their houses at wee hours and are tried extrajudicially. Both Islamabad and Rawalpindi are of the view that any potential threat against them, even political, must be nipped in the bud. Their sole aim is the materialization of the CPEC, as Pakistan has taken billions of dollars from China and it is left with no option but to clear way for the economic campaigns of China. Thousands of families have been displaced to make way for the CPEC in Balochistan, and hundreds of others who didn't fall in line have been eliminated completely. China has been bringing in more and more Chinese workers, including security personnel, to work on the project, thereby raising the threat of possible Chinese economic and political domination among the locals.
Moving on. With the rise in the cases of coronavirus patients, the discrimination against the people of illegally occupied Gilgit Baltistan too has grown. Pakistan, which keeps claiming the region as its own, hasn't offered even a single-digit support to the distressed or those who have lost jobs due to the pandemic. The tourism industry, which is the sole employer of these people, is under shutdown for over 2 months. While owners are worried about mounting interest over the loans they took from the banks, the employers are reeling under a state of abject poverty.
The tourism industry of Gilgit Baltistan is bearing the brunt of the lockdown imposed in the wake of the rapid spread of the coronavirus pandemic. While their earnings have diminished, the interest over the bank loans people took to boost their businesses is accumulating. It's a two-pronged plight. On one side, it has become difficult for people to gather even 2 square meals amid lockdown. On the other, the hoteliers and other associated with the tourism industry are in the grip of anxiety. They don't know how they will pay back loans. An inactive administration has not shown any interest in their problems.
कोरोना की वजह से इस साल होटल इंडस्ट्री से लेकर यहाँ के फ़िश फार्मर्स से लेकर यहाँ के टूरिस्ट से लेकर यहाँ के पोर्टर तक हर बंदा इससे मुतासिर हुआ है। यहाँ के हज़ारों की तादाद में अफराद का वाबस्ता बिला वास्ता यहाँ टूरिज़म के साथ है, लेकिन कोरोना वायरस की वजह से और लॉकडाउन की वजह से सियाह ना आने की वजह से इन इलाकों में मायूसी भी छाई हुई है। एक तरफ दूसरी जानिब यहाँ होटल इंडस्ट्री से वाबस्ता अफराद भी एक अजीब कैफियत में मुब्तला है। उनका भी यही कहना है कि हमने बैंकों से लोन्स लेकर यहाँ अपने होटल्स बनाए हैं, हमारे ऊपर करोड़ों के अखराजात करके होटल बनाए और हमारे पास नहीं थी कि हम अपने पैसों पे ये होटल इंडस्ट्री बनाएं और हमने बैंकों से कर्जे लेके यहाँ पे होटल्स बनाए हैं। तो इस साल उनका भी यही कहना है कि यहाँ पे भी शुरू किए जाए ताकि उनको भी इन मुश्किलात से निजात मिल सके।
In the region, which is under Pakistan's illegal occupation for over 7 decades, a large number of people are unemployed, and those who are working just manage to fetch the minimum amount required for subsistence. Hence, the coronavirus pandemic has also triggered poverty and destitution in the region. People are in an urgent need of economic assistance, but those controlling the exchequer have turned deaf ears to the situation.
वफाकी हुकूमत की जानिब से यहाँ के टूरिज़म इंडस्ट्री को बचाने के लिए अब तक मेरे ख़्याल में जहाँ के आर्टिकल से लेकर न्यूज़ से लेकर करंट अफेयर्स के प्रोग्राम हम देखते रहते हैं, लेकिन गिलगित बल्तिस्तान की टूरिज़म के ऊपर वफाकी हुकूमत ने अब तक किसी किस्म के पैकेज का ऐलान तक तो नहीं किया, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ के जो होटल इंडस्ट्रीज़ है, यहाँ के जो पोर्टर्स है, यहाँ के जो जितने भी अफराद जो वाबस्ता है टूरिज़म इंडस्ट्रीज़ के साथ, उन सबको मुश्किलात का सामना है। वफाकी हुकूमत को चाहिए कि कोरोना की वजह से जहाँ दीगर शोबे मुतासिर हुए, वहाँ सियाहत का शोबा भी बुरी तरह मुतासिर होकर रह गया है। हुकूमत को चाहिए कि इन्हें भी रिलीफ दे, इन्हें भी सब्सिडाइज चीज़ें फराहम की जाए, इन्हें भी वसाइल फराहम किए जाए ताकि ये भी सर्वाइव कर सके इन बुरे दिनों में।
The authorities in Gilgit Baltistan have always been apathetic to the sufferings of locals. They do what is instructed by the people sitting in Islamabad and not what is in the interest of the people. Although the locals have come to terms with this misrule and discrimination, the gravity of the pandemic had made them hopeful of receiving at least humanitarian aid from their occupier. They were wrong. Their hopes have been crushed. Pakistan is not ready to even sympathize with these people, let alone announcing a relief package.
The world will never get to know even the real number of COVID-19 patients in the entire POK and Gilgit Baltistan, as Pakistan has nearly banned media in the occupied regions. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.